Okay, so let's have a look at the Junior Certificate Higher Level Maths Paper 2 for 2018, question 8. The line H has a slope of -2. It passes through the point 1, 101. Find out how many points on this line have coordinates that are both positive whole numbers, including the point 1, 101. Justify your answer fully. So we have a line that looks, I don't know, something like this. Has a negative slope, so it's going to slope to the left like this, and we know that it has a slope of -2. It passed through the point 1, 101, so let's say 1 is here, so our point is going to be, let's say, here somewhere, so that's 1, 101. And we've got to find out how many points along this line here where both coordinates, the x and the y coordinates, are both positive and they're also whole numbers. So we have 2, 3, and so on, all the way up to here. Well, okay, let's do a little bit of investigating here. What I'm going to do is just write down maybe the equation of this line first and see what we can do with that. So the equation of a line is going to be y minus y1 is equal to m into x minus x1. We have a point on this line, it's this one here, so our y1 is 101, our slope is -2, and we got a 1 here as our x1. So we get y minus 101 is equal to minus 2x plus 2. That'll give me 2x plus y minus 103 is equal to 0. So this is the equation of this line. What I'm going to do is maybe just have a look at where it cuts the y-axis and where it cuts the x-axis to give us an idea of the limits of the area that we're actually talking about, the limits of the line here that we're talking about. So let's just look at where it cuts the y-axis first. So we're just going to look at the y-intercept first. So let's look at the y-intercept. So this point up here first. So at the y-intercept then, x is equal to 0. So that will give us, remember this is the equation of our line here, this is what we're working with. So we've got 2 times 0, x is 0, plus y minus 103 equal to 0. That'll give me y minus 103 equal to 0, because 2 zeros are 0, so I get y is equal to 103. So the y-intercept here is going to be 0, 103. Okay, let's have a look at the x-intercept here. So the x-intercept then is going to be something 0. Remember the y is 0 on the x-axis. So we're looking at the x-intercept now. The x-intercept. So the x-intercept y is going to be 0. So again, dealing with the equation of our line here, we want 2 times x plus y, which is now 0, minus 103 equal to 0. So that will give me 2x minus 103 equal to 0, or just 2x is equal to 103 by adding 103 to both sides. So that finally will just give me x is equal to divide by 2, so you get 51.5. So here I end up with 51.50. So I now have the x and the y-intercept. So I know that my x's will be numbers less than 51.5 down to 0 here, and my y's will be from 103 down to 0 here, or at least just above zeros in both cases. So I need positive whole numbers for x's and y's. Well, if I work my way down along here on the x-axis here, the next whole number less than 51.5 is 51. Now, if I put 51 into my equation. So this time I have the equation of my line is 2x plus y minus 103 equal to 0. If I put 51 in instead of x, what y will I get? Well, 2 times 51 is 102 plus y minus 103 equal to 0. So that will give me 102 minus 103 is minus 1. Bring that over to the other side, you get y is equal to 1. So in other words, this point here is going to be 51, 1. Now you can see here as well that every time I put a whole number x value in, I should get a whole number y value as well, because once I multiply my x here by any whole number and I isolate the y, there's no coefficient of y, so I won't actually end up dividing by any number. So y will be just some whole number minus 103, which is just a whole number as well. So I'll always end up with a whole number. I won't end up with any fractions so long as I put in whole numbers for x. Now if I bring the x values down to 1, I'll still end up with y values 101 actually. If I go down as far as 1, I'll end up with 101 here for my y. So in other words, really there are 51 points along this line. There are 51 points along this line that will give me whole number positive x and y values. So 51 is the first one, working from right to left, then 50, 49, 48, 47, all the way down to 3, 2, 1. When I get to 1, I still have a positive x value and a positive y value. After 1, I'm down to 0, but 0 is not positive, so I stop at 1. So I'll end up with 51 positive whole number x values and also 51 positive whole number y values. So my answer here then is 51. 51. So the reason here is because the equation of the line is the equation of my line was 2x plus y minus 103 equal to 0. Since there is no y coefficient, there will be whole number y values for each whole number x values. So in other words, for every x is an element of n, so for every x an element of n, there will be y as natural numbers as well. For x, this is really for x greater than or equal to 1, less than or equal to 51. So for x between 1 and 51 inclusive, for every x natural number you'll get a y natural number as well. So that's it. I'm not sure if we needed to go into this much detail, but that's the reasoning behind it anyway.